That sounds so weird. It's really happy, and then it goes real grim. Take my love to death. All right. Game number 1, guys. I think we finally are in it to win it here. Scout's Honor versus the Kalasar, which is gonna Scout's Honor consisting of that Mage, Lock, Paladin, and man, this composition is looking so strong. And this is the first time we've seen a God comp compete in tournament number 20. This is the first time we've seen a God comp compete in a tournament in 6.2. Period. And I'm really excited to see how this composition holds up. Some amazing players, an amazing team going to be competing with this composition. So I'm sure we'll see the composition in full form here as the gates open. Ooh, Sam I Am pushing right in. CMG going to go ahead and duel with him. A wizard duel right in the middle of the map. GC Majid in looking for that polymorph right away. He's going to land it onto Fusion instantly. And Sam I Am is taking a whole bunch of damage, dipping so low. And that's going to be the Hellstone as well, the Save by the Light proc as well. Fusion into the Deep Freeze, into the polymorph. He's going to Trinket Execution Sentence, and now he's going to be put into the full fear. Now Sam I Am in the Hodge. He doesn't have a blink available to them. He's taking so much damage. This God comp is crazy so far. Sam I Am wants to get offensive. He lands the full polymorph onto Floria. Now CMG on the back foot at 32% health here. Saved by the Light going to be proccing, and it's going to be ripped through as well. Floria caught into that fear. It's going to force to disperse, and Sam I Am held onto his blocks, and somehow, some way, that God comp out of that is behind now.
Yeah, definitely. There were 2 trinkets and the execution sentence came out for Scout's Honor, but Sam I Am able to hold on to both of those blocks, and they were also able to get the disperse and the trinket out of CMG there, as well as the wings from Feloria. So that's actually huge in favor of Scout's Honor, the way that this actually shaked out here. Now Feloria with his wings still a little bit active, but he's into the Frostjaw. CMG dipping so low, 10% health there, 13%. Is he going to be able to stay alive? Is Sam I Am actually going to have to block? But it doesn't matter. CMG takes just way too much damage for Feloria to keep up with, and that is a very quick first game for Scout's Honor.
I did not expect to see such a crazy game from these wizard comps. I mean, we've seen in the past and not the previous patches that these wizard games just last forever, and that did not.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that when Sam I Am had to block, that would slow down the damage enough for CMG to stay alive, but it really wasn't. Like, Gorecki was still able to finish off and do that last little bit of damage that was necessary before Feloria could get a cast off, basically. Just way too much damage coming out for him to be able to deal with. And that's that. That's the first game, Scout's Honor.
Sam I Am actually canceled his block at 30%-ish health to get an Ice Nova there at the very end to kill CMG. He was that confident in his damage, but that was crazy. Scout's Honor taking game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Whew, that must feel good for this team, as this is their rival team that they're facing here in round 2 of tournament number 20.
Yeah, for sure. And that means that they will now have the map advantage if they're able, if the Kalasar is able to come back and get the next win. Then they'll still have to be able to beat Scout's Honor on their map choice, which is really going to be, I say that, I'm actually not sure how much is going to matter with these 2 compositions, because it's 2 wizard cleaves going up against each other. So I don't know that it matters too much, but there's still a little bit of an advantage in being able to pick a map that you're just more comfortable with personally, that you like your team, you know that your team does well on this particular map. So that's kind of why I'm actually really curious to see what map the Kalasar end up picking here, just to see what map do they feel comfortable on.
Yeah, we're going to see here very soon. It looks like Kalasar instantly is just going to go ahead and choose Tolvaron. Alright, here we go, guys. We're going to jump into Tolvaron Arena here, which is going to be map number 2 of this best of 3 series. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome to Tolvaron Arena. We are going to have both teams run the same compositions as they did in game number 1 here. And man, it is so crazy. Both of these teams just do so much burst damage, which is pretty incredible. Shadow Priests are looking very strong, but man.
Yeah, the damage that CMG is able to put out is strong. It's just the survivability, the fact that he had to disperse so early in that last game, and then still just took so much damage that Floria had to use like every single cooldown available to keep him alive, and then didn't have enough remaining to keep match win on. So we'll have to see if they're able to play it a little bit differently, maybe play a little bit more defensively this matchup. We'll have to see what they're able to do. Majidin now moving out here in that invis, going to probably try and get a sheep off. Yep, there goes the sheep, and he is actually not able to land that. He actually canceled it at the last second, looking like he wants to move back over here as CMG is taking a little bit of damage. Majidin gets feared there very briefly. And he did actually spell steal a whole bunch of stuff. I'm not sure that he actually really got anything super useful. But now into that Polymorph and Feloria, into that Frostjaw as well. Maybe trying to make something happen out of CMG here, but no, they are going to play super defensively. CMG getting out of line of sight over here. He's really just got that Observer hitting him at the moment. Now moving back out and just actually sitting in this orb for a second. Actually, I believe that may be Majidin's orb, so never mind that bit. But the Comet Storm comes out, and CMG, ooh, that big heal with that Avenging Wrath and Execution Sentence going to top him right back off, saving him from having to use his Disperse this early in the match.
Yeah, Fusion still not out of the water just yet. He's going to get deep frozen, but it is DR. Majidin desperately trying to... Oh, CMG, this could be it, but he's going to go ahead and disperse through all that. But both of these teams just randomly doing so much damage. Now Floria caught into that half Polymorph, and CMG still taking so much damage as the Haunt is still up on him. Fusion caught in some CC as well, and Goreki is taking a whole bunch of damage at the same time. The Hodge on the Goreki, the half Polymorph on the Fusion. This could be it right here for Goreki as he's dipping lower and lower. He's going to use the regen and catch an Execution Sentence right before that fear from CMG onto Fusion. Now Goreki trying to line of sight these guys, trying to get into a better position, but Fusion out in the middle of the map. They're trying to get back in the line of sight with each other. Sam offensively blocking out of that silence is going to land the full Polymorph, and now the Hodge onto CMG. They want to push into here. Even Fusion running in and getting those denounces out onto CMG as well. CMG with no Disperse available just yet. The full fear onto Floria right before using that Execution Sentence, and CMG catching that Execution Sentence might keep him alive for now, but Floria still in CC, and this is Orb. This is so much damage, and no Save by the Light available to proc just yet, and CMG may very well go down here very soon, but the Horrify going out from CMG onto Goreki, the Deep Freeze onto Fusion. Goreki knows he wants to be the kill target, and he's trying to get away, but he's hodged up. He's gonna get dispelled. I'm not even sure how he got out of that Hodge, actually, but Goreki got out of that Hodge, and the full fear lands onto Fusion. Goreki in the middle of the map, and these players want to set up on him. Fusion into now the half Polymorph out of that. Lots of damage rolling in onto Goreki at this point. CMG on the back foot, though, has to trinket out of that Hodge instantly to stay offensive. Save by the Light gonna proc onto Goreki here, but now Scout's Honor wants to turn this around as the Polymorph lands onto Feloria, and CMG knows it. He sees it. He's line of sighting for now.
Yeah, definitely. Kalasar playing a little bit on the back. Oh, Majidin dipping so low. Doesn't have a block available, and he just goes down. I think he had actually used his blocks offensively earlier on. I hadn't actually realized that he didn't have any blocks left, but he just, out of nowhere, completely annihilated, just completely erased. There was a Majidin, and then there wasn't a Majidin anymore.
He disappeared. I'm actually looking at that replay because I didn't even catch all that damage that went in onto Majidin. Oh my gosh, the damage is so real. Scout's Honor taking a 2-0 against their rivals, and Majidin, CMG, and Feloria will be eliminated from tournament number 20. And Scout's Honor will advance, running that Mage Lock Paladin.
Yeah, I was just watching the replay on the stream, and he actually got himself caught out in the middle. He got into a fear and decided to use his second ice block to break that fear, to try and keep up the pressure on Goreki. But the Scout's Honor immediately realized that, saw that CMG and Feloria were getting out of line of sight, and they were able to immediately turn that around and just totally punish Majidin for what was really greedy, using both of his ice blocks offensively like that. So that's the risk of that, like out in the middle of the open like that too. That's what's going to happen as soon as you're up against a team that can recognize that sort of situation and immediately turn around like that. And Scout's Honor, absolutely, they have the awareness to be able to recognize, oh, we can just kill Majidin right now.